So today I'm doing another My Little Pony doll makeover because it seems like you guys liked my last one. So I'm here to do it again. If you guys don't already know, my MLP doll makeovers are inspired by Nerdy Crafter. So our adventure begins with the massacre of Princess Luna.
Oh, why, hello there.
Princess Luna is clearly wearing way too much glitter. But still, I guess this has potential. I think. I'm gonna be honest here. I don't like glitter. And I don't like you.
Oh my.
I saw Jackie struggling to take the glitter off her pony, so I'm just not even gonna attempt it. Instead, I've decided that every part that contains glitter is just gonna be chopped off. I'll be starting with her wings.
Please no, I'm gorgeous.
Easy there, girl. Gonna just dull that sparkle down to something more bearable, something a lot more
Evil.
In case you're wondering, I will be keeping all the dismembered body parts. They won't be going to waste. I then went ahead and hacked off the horn because although unicorns are oh so fascinating, I'm sure that's just not what I wanted. She has an empty head.
Just like I thought.
I'm thinking she could use a little haircut, so there goes that. And also, her butt hair looks slightly overgrown, so it could use a trim as well. There's still some glitter left above her eyes, so to fix that, I'm just going to rip her head off. I ended up scrubbing her eyes down to get rid of all that glitter.
Why, hello there.
And I also went through and sanded down the whole thing just to help the paint stick better. Now that I've finally removed all the glitter, I can finally get started. I think Princess Luna looks a lot better without her head, definitely an improvement, so I decided to just not reattach her head. The head's kind of weird looking anyway, so it's okay. I figured I'd make a Centaur. I think those are pretty cool. Spoiler, I did end up using the head to make a reverse Centaur, so a horse head, human body sort of thing. It's something. That's all I can say. If you're new here and you're not headless yet, you should consider selling your soul to me by subscribing to my channel. Make sure you ring that bell icon and select all so you don't lose me on the internet or miss any videos. I post new videos
Every Friday.
Here I'm sculpting the human torso on Princess Luna's body. I used floral wire to add some stability to the arms I was sculpting. Just wanted to make sure her noodle arms don't fall off.
Definitely wouldn't want that.
I messed around a bit with her arms because I wanted to make sure I got the pose right. One arm is definitely longer than the other. They're looking really wonky, but it'll do. Let's not dwell on it. So my Centaur is going to be a girl. I didn't know if you could tell yet or not, but yeah, she's a girl. And since this is polymer clay, I have to bake it for it to harden, so I went ahead and baked it for the first time. I then worked on shaping the head. Her eyes are like bulging out, which should probably just be expected at this point. I'm not really going for a realistic looking Centaur, more of a cartoon version, because, you know, I'm not very good at realism. Because she is half horse, I figured she'd probably be like galloping through the fields or something. So that's why her ponytail looks like it's blowing in the wind. I kept switching back and forth between working with epoxy and working with polymer clay. The darker gray is the epoxy and the lighter parts are Sculpey. They both have their pros and cons. I would have done it all in epoxy since you can't bake a My Little Pony doll, but I was running low on epoxy, so that's why I had to use both. The thing that was most annoying about this whole thing was the fact that even though I tried to get rid of all the glitter by chopping Princess Luna up into bits and pieces, little specks of glitter still kept popping up everywhere. Here I'm using epoxy to attach the torso to the body, and then I attached the head as well. She's kinda like doing one of those
Paint me like one of your French girls.
poses. She looks a little silly, not sure how well she's pulling off the pose, but I like it. I also made a horsetail since I cut the original one off. I just didn't like the color of the original tail, so that's mostly why I had gotten rid of it. And for her shirt, I went in and added some edges so it's more apparent that she's wearing a shirt. I wasn't sure if I should give pants to her horse half, so I just didn't. I then moved on to sculpting my reverse Centaur. Just so you guys know, the reverse Centaur is not proportional. For starters, I added a mane over her hair since she was kinda bald after the haircut I gave her. After that, I extended her like body neck thing. I don't really know what it's called. I made the eyes like pop out because they look better like that in my opinion. I had originally intended the reverse Centaur to look funny, like I thought it would be fun, but she's just looking kinda scary. Which is fine because, I mean, this is the dark side, so it works. I wanted it to look like she has a massive underbite, like she's going... I know, it's not looking anything like what you expected. It's not what I expected either, but let's see how this one turns out. Turning our attention to the
backside?
I tried giving her a little booty, but it ended up being a huge dump truck in the back. So... I apologize for that. I didn't really have like a reference or anything, so that's my excuse. This was supposed to be a girl. It's meant to be kind of like the bottom half of her human body, but it's looking more like a deranged pet. Honestly, I think it's a look. She's got really short, stumpy legs. I don't know, it's kind of ugly. Maybe
That's the look I was going for.
I gave her some huge feet. They're obviously not very delicate. It's just so she could stand up on her own, add some balance to her. I don't know why, but I felt the need to justify her big feet. Once I added the feet to her body, I let the epoxy dry and harden. This reverse Centaur is probably the scariest thing I've ever made. At this point, it's barely even looking like a reverse Centaur, mostly because the head of one of the new My Little Pony dolls barely looks like a horse as it is. This is just my take on a reverse Centaur, so take that with a grain of salt. I didn't really show this, but I did go in with clay softener and sandpaper just to smooth everything out. Alright, now, it's finally time to paint. Okay, I started off by spray painting everything white, but you didn't see that since I did it off camera. I'm going with the classic brown color for the horse. Not very creative,
But yeah,
it's just that, like I said, the My Little Ponies already barely look like a horse, and I wanted it to be really obvious that this is a centaur and a reverse centaur, so that's why. I didn't want anyone to confuse them for, like, anything else. You can kinda see a little bit of texture where I blended the epoxy with the doll, so just...
I don't know.
don't look too closely. In fact, there's actually a lot of texture
No.
throughout it. That's my bad. I think I might have botched the spray paint a little bit. I always sit front row on the struggle bus, but I kept pushing on because I'm a trooper. Okay, for the horse hooves, I went in with black because I don't know what other color they'd be. I think they're always black. The tail's going to be a light brown color to go with her whole horse identity. I could have given her tail a crazy color, but I feel like both the centaur and reverse centaur are already so out there. Yeah, so I didn't want to overdo it. I'm trying to tone down the crazy with this one. I then moved on to painting the skin. And afterwards, I matched her hair color to her tail by going in with that same light brown color. Her shirt's going to be yellow. I don't really know what other color to use. I don't think I use much yellow, so that's why I settled on that. I ended up repainting the hair dark brown and then painted the rest off camera. I'm going to be honest, the reverse centaur looks like something that's summoned by Satan. But whatever. I was hoping the paint job could save it. I painted the horse part brown, the legs a skin color, and the hair light brown. Pretty much just trying to stick to the same colors as the centaur that I did. Nothing too crazy. I painted her eyes and teeth a nice clean white. The hair I repainted a dark brown, which was a good call in my opinion. She's kinda looking like a hot mess, but that's okay. This is when I went back and made the teeth a nasty yellow, and then I went over them with some white to like lighten them up. I wanted to get the teeth just right. And here's me painting the butt. It's got many lumps and bumps. It's not even, but oh well. Nobody's perfect. I did go back in and end up doing some touch-ups just to make things look more better. So here's the centaur and the reverse centaur. They look kinda silly, which of course was intentional. I'm not completely happy with how they turned out, but I think they look pretty funny.
If you don't want the reverse centaur to shake his large derriere at you, you should click on the top right. If you like big butts, click on the bottom left.